In Georgia, radical Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is now being asked by the feds to account for $3.5 million in political donations made to her that she has not itemized. This is very, very important. A Newsweek article says the Federal Election Commission, the FEC, has asked Marjorie Taylor Greene for more information about $3.5 million in contributions to her reelection campaign. In two filings posted to the FEC website Monday and surfaced on Twitter by Georgia Public Broadcasting reporter Stephen Fowler on Tuesday, the Congresswoman's husband, Perry Greene, who is also her treasurer, draining the swamp, right, was asked to provide additional details about donations the campaign received during the first two quarters of 2021. Look at these numbers. Between January and March, the Greene campaign received $2.5 million in unitemized donations from undisclosed donors, while the campaign received another nearly $1 million in unitemized donations between April and June. The campaign reported a total of more than $4.5 million in donations during the same period. Candidates are not, look at this, candidates are not legally obliged to itemize donations or disclose the identity of donors for contributions that total under $200 for an election cycle. For donations that do need to be itemized, campaigns must supply details including name of the donor, address, occupation, employer, and the date of the donation. The FEC has given the Greene campaign until October 12 to provide clarification about the $3.5 million. To comply with FEC rules, the campaign must either provide information about the donors or show the money came from small donors only, from at least 17,630 individuals contributing no more than $199.99 each. It is conceivable mathematically that this was only through small donations, but it is not particularly likely. So she pretended to be about draining the swamp, and yet she is the swamp. Unitemized donations, husband is campaign treasurer. Anybody sick of hearing about these stories and then nothing ever actually ends up happening? Like everything these people do, yes, is a grift. I'm still wondering, how did she get away with declaring 2 homestead exemptions at the same time on her taxes? Do you even remember that story? That was it 6 months ago? Was it 12 months ago? You're only allowed to have 1 homestead exemption or declaration. Marjorie Taylor Greene had 2, and we discovered that. It was being investigated. I've heard nothing since. What's going on with that? Could this be as simple as Marjorie Taylor Greene just as using her campaign donations as a personal slush fund and used it for personal expenses? Could it be that simple? Hopefully we'll find out more, and she has until October 12th to disclose the oranges or the origins, per your preference, and usage of those donations. We will try to follow it. Unfortunately, too often the story goes nowhere and we never hear about it again. We'll be covering these stories as well as updates to other stories from earlier this week on the David Pakman Show Instagram. Make sure you're following us there at David Pakman Show, and follow me at david.pakman.